except for Curtis is here, maybe he's just running late.
24, 25 inches, best I can tell.
I've asked
Need
Kelly
one
if
more
she'll give
trip.
the invocation for us.
Thank you, God, for allowing us to come together today to make decisions for our school district. And I pray that you bless the teachers that are in this district and the students and the administration that we have, and that you continue to walk with us daily in this day-to-day school activities and events and instruction. And I just pray that you help us to make wise decisions tonight that will affect the kids in this district. Amen.
Thank you. All right, any recognition?
Yes. All right, so as y'all know, it's School Board Appreciation Month, January is, and so in front of you got some gifts from the campuses, and I want to read this to you. Stamford ISD would like to join 1,024 school districts throughout Texas in celebrating January as School Board Recognition Month. Our school board members are volunteers who shoulder critical responsibilities and often make difficult choices for our district, all without pay. Their goal is always focused on the future success of our students. Celebrating School Board Recognition Month is one way that we can say thanks for all that y'all do. Serving as a link between the community and the classroom, school board members are elected to establish policies that provide the framework for public schools. The Stamford ISD Board is responsible for an annual budget of $7.9 million, 601 students, 109 employees, and 3 campuses. And so I'd just like to take this moment to thank y'all for all that you do. Thank you for your service and all the time on trainings that you've been spending and board meetings, and through this whole COVID situation, how supporting y'all have been through all this that we've been going through. And so we just appreciate y'all, and I'd like to give y'all a round of applause. All right, I've got certificates, and it says honoring Gwen Baker for dedicated leadership in public education and continuing service to the children of this community. Thank you, Gwen. Appreciate you. Jennifer, thank you. Justin, appreciate you, sir. Zach, thank you, sir.
Hey, you all instead of the school.
Thank you, sir. And
I think you saved the best for last.
alphabetical.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Please. Evaluation night, yes.
Thank you. No citizens.
So I did not get it.
Okay, administrative reports. We all had these emailed to us for review. Anybody have any questions? You said no principal.
Yeah, no principals reports. We had a board meeting right before Christmas break, and then a few days, out after Christmas, so no principals reports.
Mr. Brewer, I did want to just recognize our student and teachers of the month real quick. Our students of the month were Mr. Matthew Burfing and Caitlin McClintock. So those were our 2 students of the month, and our teacher of the month was Mr. Bevel. So I just wanted to, in front of y'all, recognize them. And then we did have a video, if Mr. Burfing that our students put together for y'all for school board appreciation. So.
The school board rocks. The school
board advocates for us.
The school board approves our calendars for the campuses.
The school board makes tough decisions.
Thank you for making tough decisions for our school. The school board always keeps students the #1 priority when making decisions. It's a group of fantastic people who decide who our superintendent will be.
volunteer time
Helps decide a dress code that protects our students.
helps budget our money with putting students first.
We know that it's a big task to ensure COVID policies.
school rather than online.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you do and the time you put in to make our school the best.
School board members are elected by the Stamford community.
Thank you for all you do for supporting our academic endeavors.
Hey, school board, thank you for everything you do for Stamford ISD. You're truly appreciated.
Our school board makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, school board, for everything you've done for us teachers here at Stamford High School.
Thank you, school board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, school board, for all your hard work and everything that you do for us.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for keeping us open during COVID.
Thank you, school board, for giving up a lot of your family time to help our Stamford ISD.
This is really good.
Thank you. All right, in my report, I'm gonna take this off and you can hear me, but I want to first talk about this year's school calendar. We'll talk about it later on in the agenda when we're looking at moving the staff development day. But as far as bad weather and makeup days, I'll kind of walk through that a little bit. So we've had 3.5 days so far this school year where we've had canceled school. 2 of those were for water, or 1.5 was for water and 2 was for weather. So on October 27th, we had a bad weather day. On December 17th, we had a half day for water outage. January 6th, we had a full day for water outage. And then on January 11th, we had a full day for bad weather. So looking at how we make those things up. Right now, what looks like we're going to do is we have that day at the end, Friday, May 21st. We're going to end on Friday or Thursday the 20th. That 21st is a flex day, bad weather day. So we're looking at going to school on that Friday, making that the last day of school. That'll make up for October 27th. Okay, so that takes care of one. The water outage on the 17th, we're just going to probably use minutes on that. We have some minutes built into the calendar. There's not really a way at this point that we can make that up with like a waiver or anything. Then the January 6th, I'm recommending that the plan is to make that up on February the 12th. That February 12th was a 4-day weekend, and that'll make that a 3-day weekend instead of a 4-day weekend. And that 12th was a bad weather day. For January 11th, the one we had this week, I'm gonna file a waiver, or my recommendation is to file a waiver. So you have to have 2 instructional days that have been canceled, and you have to make up those 2 before you can file a waiver. So the 2 that we're making up would be October 27th and then January 6th, and we'll make them up on May the 21st and February the 12th. Okay, so we missed 3.5 days. We'll make up 2 of those. The other day and a half will be from a waiver. We'll file a waiver with TEA, and then the other half day we'll just lose for minutes. You can't file I've learned a lot about the half day this week. I've been on the phone with TEA trying to navigate the best way to do this. What I'm trying to do is avoid us going to school that last week in May. And so so for a half day, you can't file a waiver. It's got to be a full day. The categories for waivers are weather, health, safety, and then other. So there's not really a category for water outage. So I talked to Brandon at TA. He was fairly optimistic that they would approve it, but he wouldn't go out on the limb and tell me if they would. But, so the process on that is that it's got to go to the district site-based committee, and then it's got to come to the board, and then you submit it to TEA. So we'll do that next month. Will be my plan is we'll take it to the site-based and have them vote on it electronically, because we won't meet before then, and then bring it to the board and y'all vote on it, and then we'll submit it to TEA. You know, we don't have to make up the January 6th day on February 12th, but we would lose those minutes. You know, and my concern is that we've used 3.5 days already, and it's, you know, it's January 14th. We still got a long ways to go, and I don't want to use up all of our minutes at this point, and then look up and then have to go that. I'm trying to avoid that last week in May. On waivers, it's by minutes. At the minimum, you can apply for 2,100 of minutes, depending on if you have waivers on other things. You can actually do more than that, but 2,100 minutes for us. It's kind of a long explanation, but it's about 4 days is what you can get out of it, maybe 5. So saying all that's kind of where I'm landing on that. We'll need to get it out to the public because we're about a month away from that February 12th day, and people need to know it'll be a 3-day weekend instead of a 4-day weekend. Mm-hmm. So questions, concerns about that? So we'll still have about 77,700 minutes. That gives us a few days of cushion on that end, and then we can also file for some waivers too if we have to. So just want to make sure we build in enough cushion in there if things happen. We don't have to go to school that last week in May. School calendar for next year, as I mentioned in the last board meeting, it's going to be a bit longer of a process this year. We won't present it to the board in February or probably March. Just kind of want to slow play that a little bit, just all the things that are going on. I think it'd be wiser just to make sure that we slow play that a little bit and make sure we think through it. Roofing project, I've been on the phone a lot with Ralph Harris, and he's the guy that works for us. He doesn't work for insurance or the roofing company. He works for us. He's kind of a third party, and he's worked really hard on insurance. And you know, it seems optimistic at one point, then I get another phone call, and it's not, you know how it is with those types of things. But I feel like that he's working really hard to get some other things paid for by insurance, and you know, I think there's a chance that'll happen. But until I see the check in the bank, then we're not gonna count on that. But I will say at least the agent that's been working with us has been really receptive and feels like that these are legitimate things that need to be added. But you know, it's got to go up the chain. So we'll just kind of wait on that. But I am optimistic that that the claim amount will increase, and we'll cover some more things. So like I said before, what that'll force is a change order that we'll bring before the board, and we'll talk about, you know, does the amount of insurance cover all that? You know, is it a break even? Or we have to dip in a little bit on our side? You got to factor into, we do have the deductible, and we have non-recoverable depreciation factored into that too. So when we get down to a change order, we'll break that down for you. Board training, just want to remind you about the child abuse, maltreatment, trafficking training through EduHero. Several of y'all have done that. That's probably the easiest ways to do it through EduHero. So that's supposed to be done by January 31st. That's when it's not really a waiver. It's they've given us longer to complete that. Board hours, remember in April is when they announced them. And I know that it's been a tough year to get board hours since we really didn't have in-person TASA and TASB, and I'll just tell you to try to do your best. EduHero, there's several courses on EduHero that you can take, and if you'd like for me to give you some recommendations, I can. But that's kind of the deal on board training hours. I'm going to pass this out. I think I've given it to y'all before, but it's the kind of the chart from TASB on board training requirements. And I'll walk y'all through it a little bit.
It's okay.
You probably don't want it.
It's okay.
So looking across there, it breaks it down to new trustees and experienced trustees. And so new trustees, first year, you do the local orientation, the intro to TC and the open government. And then experienced trustees, you just get, you can attend some of those, but you're not required to. So skipping over to cybersecurity, y'all did that through EduHero at the spring of last year, and everybody completed that. I think it reset in June. So right about the time y'all finished it, then it reset. Yeah. So it'll be due again in June. So yeah.
So we got to
Love
do
that.
it again.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
exciting.
Well, I'm glad I printed out that certificate.
The post-legislative update, we didn't have that last year because the legislative session wasn't going on, and it's going on right now. So there'll be one later on, probably this summer or the fall. Child abuse prevention, that's the one through EduHero that's supposed to be done before January 31st. The evaluating improving student outcomes, the ISO training, formerly the Senate Bill 1566. That's what we did by Zoom in the spring last year, and a team of 8. So it counts twice. It counts there, and it also counts as the team building. So you can check both of those off.
So we get double out.
I don't. So when Joan put them in, that's not the way that it worked itself out. But and I don't think it counts towards these 10 and 5 anyways. So I don't know if it really matters, because after that you got to get 10 and 5 each year, or first year and each year, additional continuation education hours. Yeah, and I'm sorry that here's the thing is that Curtis would probably be able to talk about this the most. It's like they have really ratcheted this up, and they keep on increasing the amount of hours for. And really, Mike Morath is a big advocate of this because he was on the board at Dallas ISD. And so he's really big on Lone Star governance and all these hours being required of board members. So I guess what I say is, as long as Mr. Morath is the commissioner, I see it just trending up, unfortunately. So if I can help any way on any of these, let me know. Like I said, EduHero's got some good stuff. The service center's got great stuff, and a lot of their stuff is now virtual, so you can tune in there. So really what you need to be looking at is that last column, the additional continuation, continuing education hours. And that's what we normally get at Tacit-TASB. You're able to check those off at Tacit-TASB. You get those in a couple days. So questions about
that I did at TASB online through Zoom. Okay, which is already under my CEU. So John will have access to that, right?
Yes, she's already looked at that. And,
all right.
Yeah, she has access to it. So let me know if you have any questions later on about that, and I can answer them. So the legislative session began on Tuesday. Dave Delon is the Speaker of the House. I think that's how you pronounce that. He's from Beaumont. He's a big supporter of public education, which is really good. And so he's already come out and said that education would be a top priority. So that's really good coming from the Speaker of the House. The comptroller came out with the biennial revenue estimates, and those are really important because that's what sets the budget for the legislative session. In Texas, as you know, they cannot pass a budget that's not balanced. It comes off this number right here. So it is an estimate, but they have to work with something, and that's what they work with. So two positive things. Number one, the potential deficit for this past biennium was supposed to be a little over $4 billion, and they think it's going to be like $1 billion now. So they've really closed the gap on what they think the deficit of this current biennium. For the future biennium, they feel like that it's going to. I think it's 113 billion is what I think. Is that right, Stacy? Somewhere around there, which is 119, which is pretty close to the current budget, I believe. And so now he's projecting some pretty aggressive growth, I think. But what I would say is that the revenue estimates on both ends, current biennium and the future biennium, the next biennium is pretty positive compared to what they thought it was going to be. And so that's good on our side with school finance, especially on the heels of House Bill 3 that required a huge influx of public school funding. So, we've been pretty conservative budgeting, as y'all know, and so we're going to continue that as we go into the spring. CNAD, I think, is on May 31st is what it typically is. So, the legislative session ends on May 31st, so we won't know a whole lot. And a lot of what's interesting in this, and Stacy can talk a lot about it, but these first few months is a lot of talking, and then the last bit of the session is really when a lot of the bills get passed finally. So we won't know anything until the end.
May 31st.
Yeah.
Most times, the big ones don't pass till the last few minutes.
So I would say positive news on the legislative session and the comptroller. All right, board election timelines. So January 13th, yesterday was the first day to file an application for a place on the ballot. February 12th will be the deadline to file an application for a place on the ballot. February 19th is the first day to cancel an unopposed election. February 22nd is the date to hold a drawing, determine order of candidates and names on the ballot. April 19th is the first day to vote early in person. April 27th is the last day to vote early in person. May 1st is election day. And then May 4th to May 12th is the canvassing period. And so I think I've already put the board meeting on there. Maybe it's the 10th. It's in that canvassing period. So that's kind of the timelines on filing for a place on the ballot for election, but specifically for board election. Election this year is going to be, they're going to do it at the VIP center. Again, I think they did that, and I think that worked out well instead of doing it at school. And so they're going to do that again at the VIP center from what we understand. So any questions about any of that, about board election timelines, legislative session, board training, any of it? All right, then I've got next month's meeting. I think it was is February 8th. We're switched back from Thursdays to Mondays. There's not a middle school basketball game on February 8th. Finish up before that. All right, that's all I've got.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Strike B, C, and D.
B, C, and D. I would certainly entertain a motion to
make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
Got a motion by Justin. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Kelly. Any further discussion? Call for a vote.
Jennifer Goodell.
Yes.
Kelly Mettler.
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is absent. Gwen Baker.
Yes.
Eric Freeman.
Yes.
Zach Logan.
Yes.
Justin Corzine.
Yes.
And that motion passes unanimously. All right, next we have the policy update 116.
Signatures. Okay, update 116 is not a huge policy update. I'll just hit the local ones. CQB is on technology resources and cybersecurity, and basically has to do with training. And the recommended revision to the policy delegates the responsibilities to the superintendent of selecting a cybersecurity training program instead of the board doing that. On DCD and DCE, it's on employment practices, and it's for at-will employees or other types of contracts. And it establishes a process that an employee would follow before a complaint is heard by the board. Basically, with at-will and other types of contracts, they would follow the same complaint or grievance process that any other employee would with a Chapter 21 contract. FFAC, Wellness and Health Services. I talked to Cindy Ford about this for a little bit. Basically, what this policy update does is it takes out several things out of policy and delegates it to administrative regulations, which is where it should be. The biggest change here is on school districts not purchasing non-prescription medication to administer to students, which I talked to Nurse Ford about that, and she said, well, we're already kind of following that anyway. So how that would work is that if a parent wanted to administer Advil, ibuprofen, Tylenol to the kids, they would provide that, and then the school, and they would fill out a form, and the school would administer it. So in other words, the school wouldn't go out to Walmart and buy ibuprofen and just give it to kids. So we're already following that, but this puts it into the policy. GKA has to do with community relations and conduct on school premises, and this is if someone is if they're filing a complaint regarding refusal of entry or ejection from property based on Education Code 37.105, they shall be permitted to address the board within 90 calendar days unless it's resolved before that. So if someone is not allowed to come on school property, they have 90 days to come to the board if it's not resolved. And that's it. That's all the policy. Any questions?
I make a motion to approve the policy update 116.
I second it.
Got a motion by Zach, second by Gwen. Any further discussion? Call for a vote.
Jennifer Cadell,
Yes.
Callie Miller,
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is absent. I'm already looking at Gwen. Gwen Baker. Eric Strand.
Yes.
Zach Logan.
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
And that motion passes unanimously. Next, we have the resolution regarding extracurricular status of the 4-H organization
For Haskell County.
Okay.
Any questions about that? We do this every year.
Right. Call. I would entertain a motion.
I make the motion to approve the resolution regarding extracurricular status of the Haskell County 4-H organization as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Eric, second by Gwen. Any further discussion? Call for a vote.
Jennifer Cadell,
Yes.
Callie Miller,
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is absent. Gwen Baker,
Yes.
Eric Strand,
Yes.
Zach Logan,
Yes.
Justin Corzine.
Yes.
And now we have the adjunct faculty status for the Haskell County Extension Agent.
And her name is Kelly Brown.
Make a motion to accept her as the faculty adjudication for Haskell County.
All right, I got a motion by Gwen,
Second.
a second by Callie. Any further discussion? Call for a vote.
Jennifer Cadell,
Yes.
Callie Miller,
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is absent. Gwen Baker,
Yes.
Eric Strand,
Yes.
Zach Logan,
Yes.
Justin Corzine.
Yes.
And that motion passes unanimously. Next, we have the consent to multiple representation.
Okay, and as you know, Walsh Gallegos represents Stamford ISD, and there's been a little restructuring of PEPSA with the withdrawal of Sweetwater, and so there's a new fiscal agent, and so anyways, Walsh Gallegos is going to be there. They're going to represent PEPSA as well, and so we have to give them consent to be able to do that. And again, I don't see any issue with it. We're required to do so.
So I make a motion to approve the consent to multiple representation letter as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Kelly and a second by Eric. Any further discussion? Call for a vote?
Jennifer Goodell,
Yes.
Callie Miller,
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is absent, Wayne Baker,
Yes.
Eric Strand,
Yes.
Zach Logan, Justin Corzine. Zach Logan,
Yes.
yes, Justin Corzine. I've got a mess going on over here.
It's a Monday on a
Well, this
Thursday.
keeps skipping around the different, it says you want to save your motion or not, so I have no idea. I hope, are you, somebody writing down, please, Megan? Thank you, because it's getting all messed up.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Next, we have the resolution for extension of the emergency paid sick leave.
And I'll, if I leave anything out, Stacy, just feel free to chime in. The extended leave program was started this summer specifically for COVID, and if someone had to miss because they were sick, or they were close contact, they were given 80 hours of EPSL. That expired on December 31st. We thought they were going to renew it, but I don't really know the politics of that, but it didn't get renewed or extended, I guess is what we should say. And so we're recommending that we extend that through the end of the school year. So it doesn't mean they're going to get another 80 hours or 10 days. That just means that, if they've already used the 80 hours, they won't get another. But if they haven't used it and they get sick, then they have 80 hours of paid leave. We do a lot of remote stuff, and so we really haven't had to use it much at all. But I just think during this time with all of our people working so hard, this is something we can do to help them out.
I make a motion that we accept the resolution of extension of the EPSL through June of 2021.
Got a motion by Gwen, a second by Kelly. Any further discussion? I knew you were.
Yeah.
Call for a vote?
Jennifer Goodell,
Yes.
Callie Miller,
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is still absent, Wayne Baker,
Yes.
Eric Strand,
Yes.
excuse me, Zach Logan, Justin Corzine.
He's really messing up stuff.
I know, really.
All right, that motion passes unanimously. Now, we're gonna consider revising the calendar for the 2020-2021 school year.
Okay, so we set the 22nd back last year because we were hoping to host the UIL, a high school UIL academic meet, and we did it on Monday last year. Well, they wanted to do it on Wednesday for a few reasons to avoid some conflicts. So in order for us to pull that off, Mr. Selke and his staff looked to see if they could do it a half day, and they really can't, especially if we're gonna do it in person and social distancing and really spreading things out. It's gonna take, I'm sure it's gonna take most of the day to do that. So in order to do that, we would need to move that staff development day. So that would be a student holiday. Staff would work from the 22nd to Wednesday, the 24th. Any questions about that?
Make a motion to approve the revised school calendar for the 2021 school year as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Justin, a second by Eric. Any further discussion? Call for a vote?
Jennifer Goodell,
Yes.
Callie Miller,
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is absent, Wayne Baker,
Yes.
Eric Strand,
Yes.
Zach Logan,
Yes.
Justin Corzine.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Now, innovative course.
So the high school's offering Principles of Exercise Science and Wellness. That is a TEA innovative course. I included some information on that for you, but since it is an innovative course, it's got to be board approved. So we're asking for it to be approved. Anything on that you want to say, Mr. Silver?
No, it is a new course and we're working through some curriculum stuff, but, we feel like it does fit some of the programs of studies that we put in place for our kids. And it's one of the courses that's required in that program of study. So I didn't really understand why it had to be an innovative course whenever it was one of the courses required for a program of study, but apparently it is.
Can you do it again?
Okay, Logan.
I make a motion to approve the innovative course.
I second.
Got a motion by Zach, second by
Give it to Stray.
Eric. Any further discussion? Call for a vote.
Jennifer Cadell,
Yes.
Kelly Miller,
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is absent, Gwen Baker,
Yes.
Eric Strand,
Yes.
Zach Logan.
Yes.
Justin Corzine.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, I believe we are now going into executive session.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve Mr. Brewer's contract 1 year with a 4% raise.
So we're gonna extend it a year.
With a 4%.
I had a motion by Zach, who seconded it? Justin. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. Jennifer Cadell, yes. Kelly Mallard.
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong is absent. Gwen Baker. Eric Strand.
Yes.
Zach Logan.
Yes.
Justin Corzine.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously. I would now,
I move to adjourn.
got a motion from
Second.
Zach and a second from Eric.
Boy, you jumped in on that one, didn't you?
Call for a vote. Jennifer Cadell, yes. Kelly Mettler.
Yes.
Curtis Birdsong's absent. Gwen Baker.
Yes.
Eric Strand.
Yes.
Zach Logan.
Yes.
Justin Corzine.
Yes.
It is 8 PM and we are adjourned.